Brian Enton says Brian Koberger hearings will continue to be on video, but the camera will now be controlled by the court and not by the media. According to a new order from the judge, a live stream to YouTube will be provided by the judge. No future hearings are beautiful. Shout out Judge. Shout out Judge. 11/17/2023. So, order denying second motion to intervene and granting defendant's motion to remove media cameras from the courtroom. It says, this order addresses the motion to remove cameras from courtroom filed by defendant Brian C. Koberger, quote, Koberger, on August 24th, 2023. On September 6th, 2000, well, hold on a minute. On September 6, 2023, the state responded to Koberger's motion requesting that the court prohibit cameras in the courtroom, both still and video, at a minimum during trial and during any other court proceedings at which victims might be called to testify. And that was the state's response to defendant's motion to remove cameras from the courtroom at 3. On August 30th, 2023, a coalition of 14 media outlets that will be collectively referred to as the Associated Press filed a second motion to intervene in the case. Motion to intervene at FN, Associated Press, all the local news stations and their respective agencies. Page 2. On September 8th, 2023, the Associated Press filed an opposition to motion to remove cameras from the courtroom. The Associated Press argues that continuing to allow audio-visual coverage of the proceedings is the only way to ensure that many community members affected by these crimes throughout the University of Idaho, Moscow, the state of Idaho, and the cities in which the victims' families members reside have an opportunity to see and hear the proceedings for themselves. Interveners, quote, opposition to motion to remove cameras from the courtroom at 2. For the reasons stated below, the court grants Koberger's motion to remove cameras from courtroom as it pertains to cameras both still and video operated by the media. However, the court will continue to allow the proceedings to be videoed by a court-operated camera system. This will help alleviate the concerns raised by both the defense and the state, but at the same time will ensure the public still has access to see the proceedings for themselves if they cannot attend hearings in person. Thank you so much, Judge. This whole time, when we're sitting here and we're thinking cameras aren't going to be allowed, prosecution doesn't want them, defense doesn't want them. When we sat there and we were hearing judge say, well, let me see what's going out on YouTube. Let me see. That's why I said you have to hold on to hope, because I had a feeling the right thing was going to happen. The right thing is going to happen. I am totally, completely cool with a camera being in the freaking courtroom way back in the back corner. Please give us the audio. Let us be there. We don't need to see certain parts of testimony when it comes to injuries, brutalities, things like that. But when it comes to an innocent person being convicted or a guilty person set free, these cameras definitely need. This is going to be one of those cases that sets changes in the future in a positive and in a negative direction. There's going to be negative things that come from this case from here on out. There's going to be positive things that come from this case from here on out. Both are going to be major changes when it comes to this system and how things are done, how things are investigated, how things are prosecuted. There's going to be so many different things. This is going to be a learning experience, not only for the past, the present, and the future. So thank you, Judge, for doing the right thing and allowing the courtroom and the audio to be available. Background. We don't need to read the background. We already know the background. All right. Given the high-profile nature of the case and concerns surrounding Kohberger's fundamental right to a fair trial by an impartial jury, the parties stipulated to an entry of non-dissemination order on May 1st, 2023. A coalition of 20 media outlets, which encompasses the 14 media outlets now at issue, filed a motion to intervene and a motion to vacate the amended non-dissemination order. At a scheduling conference conducted on May 22nd, 2023, the court asked the parties and the Associated Press to brief the issue of whether cameras should continue to be allowed in the courtroom during proceedings in the case. Oral argument on the issue was heard on June 9th, 2023. The state was represented by William W. Thompson Jr. and Bradley J. Rudley. Latah County Prosecutor's Office Defendant Brian C. Kohberger, quote, Kohberger was represented by Ann C. Taylor and J. W. Logston, Kootenai County Public Defender's Office. The Associated Press was represented by Wendy Olson and Corey Carone. At that time, both the defense and the prosecution were opposed to cameras in the courtroom, especially at trial. Nevertheless, the court reserved its ruling on the issue and has continued to allow cameras operated by the media at all public hearings. Bravo, Judge. Thank you, sir. As the case has progressed, media coverage both by legitimate media outlets and journalists and by individuals on social media platforms continues to be significant nationwide. On August 24th, 2023, the defense filed a motion to remove cameras from courtroom. On August 30th, 2023, the Associated Press filed a second motion to intervene in the case, and on September 8th, 2023, filed an opposition to Kohberger's motion. On September 6, 2023, the state filed a response to Kohberger's motion arguing that cameras should be allowed, at least be banned during any hearings, including trial, where vulnerable witnesses and or victims are called to testify. The state filed a response to Kohberger's motion arguing that cameras should at least be banned during any hearings, including trial, where vulnerable witnesses and or victims are called to testify. On September 13th, 2023, a hearing on Kohberger's motion was held. The state was represented by William W. Thompson Jr., Bradley Rudley, and Jeff Nye and Ingrid Beatty. Kohberger was represented by Ann C. Taylor, Jay Logston, Alyssa Massoff, and the Associated Press was represented by Wendy Olson and Corey Carone. Issues presented. The first issue pending before this court is whether the Associated Press had a right to intervene in the case to challenge Kohberger's motion for the reasons stated below and articulated on the record at the hearing on September 13th, 2023. The court holds that the Associated Press does not have standing to intervene in the case at this juncture. Nevertheless, the court will allow the Associated Press to participate as an interested media coalition. The next issue is whether the court should exercise its discretion and remove cameras from the courtroom to protect Kohberger's right to a fair trial and to protect vulnerable witnesses and victims who may be called to testify at trial and other hearings. For the reasons stated below, the court will prohibit still video and audio coverage by journalists and the public. However, a court-operated video and audio system will be used to record and stream the proceedings, allowing the media and the public access to view and hear for themselves what is taking place in the courtroom. This will alleviate some of the concerns raised by the parties while addressing the media's concerns with removing cameras from the courtroom. Great decision again. Analysis, intervention. There is not a widespread right of the press or anyone else to routinely intervene in Idaho's criminal proceedings. Instead, the Idaho Supreme Court has endorsed a limited right applicable when a trial court's responsibility to balance the Sixth Amendment of right of the accused with the First Amendment interest of the media become an issue. There is no First Amendment or other constitutional right to record, either by audio or visual transmission, any court proceedings in Idaho. ICAR 45 is noted by the Ninth Circuit in Radio and Television News Association of Southern California versus U.S. District, yada, yada, yada. Because the Associated Press does not have a constitutional right at stake when it comes to cameras in the courtroom, intervention is not appropriate. Thus, the Associated Press's second motion to intervene is denied. However, the court will treat the Associated Press like amicus curiae. Amicus curiae is someone who is not a party to a lawsuit but who petitions the court or is requested by the court to file a brief in the action because that person has a strong interest in the subject matter. Cameras in the courtroom. In Idaho, the decision to limit, restrict, or prohibit audio/visual coverage at any proceeding is left to the discretion of the judge presiding over the case. Such decisions are not subject to appellate review. The preceding judge maintains the right to limit audio-visual coverage of any public hearing when the interest of the administration of justice requires. Authorization may be revoked at any time without prior notice. When in the discretion of the court it appears the audio-visual coverage is interfering in any way with the proper administration of justice. Few, if any, interests under the Constitution are more fundamental than the right to a fair trial by impartial jurors. The U.S. Supreme Court has recognized the defendant's right to a trial by an impartial jury free from outside influences in the face of massive, pervasive, and prejudicial publicity, while acknowledging that a responsible press has always been regarded as the handmaiden of effective judicial administration, especially in the criminal field. The court chastised the trial judge for not taking strong measures to ensure Shepard's right to a fair trial in a previous case. While pretrial publicity, even pervasive and adverse publicity, does not inevitably lead to an unfair trial, the capacity of the jury eventually impaneled to decide the case fairly is influenced by the tone and extent of the publicity. That's why I say it's so important that we make sure that we report facts and don't entertain the completely positive or completely negative banter that is continued by people that are, quote, in a circle. Will talk to family. That's where I get my information from, because potential juror members could be watching this show before they even get sent a letter to become a potential juror member. It's important for all of us to make sure that we have ethics, we have respect, and we also keep that in the back of our minds, that any potential juror at any moment in the future of this case could be currently watching these shows right now. It's very important. While only the occasional case presents a danger of prejudice from pretrial publicity, this case, as recognized by the Idaho Supreme Court, has drawn widespread publicity, garnering worldwide media attention and much speculation, and therefore pretrial publicity does not present a real danger of prejudice. Good point. Recognizing the high-profile nature of the case and the extensive coverage it has received, along with the need to minimize possible pretrial prejudice, the parties agree that the cameras should be prohibited from the courtroom, especially at any trial and any other hearings where vulnerable victims and witnesses may be called to testify. As was noted by District Judge Stephen W. Boyce in his memorandum decision and order prohibiting video and photographic coverage in the case of State of Idaho versus Lori Vallow. An agreement between the state and defense on any issue in a capital case is rare, further confirming to the court the legitimacy and level of concern counsel have raised. The same is true in this case, as demonstrated by some of the examples presented in the defense's motion to remove cameras from courtroom. Media cameras, both still and video, have and continue to zoom in on Koberger, despite the court's order that images should capture the courtroom in its entirety. At least some of Koberger's images of Koberger entering and exiting the courtroom. This is in direct violation of the court's previous directives not to film or take photographs until the court is on the record, and to immediately stop recording and when the hearing concludes. Whoa, so court TV wasn't even supposed to start? Whoa, they weren't even supposed to. They weren't. Wow, not only did they zoom, but they weren't even supposed to start it. They were supposed to start it and end it before and after. Like, they were supposed to stop that shit earlier than they did, and they weren't supposed to start recording until after they already did. Damn, and they did that over and over and over. Sorry, I only have one screen, so when I read these documents, I can't see chat. So when I'm done, I will definitely get to all of your comments. Thank you all for hopping in. I appreciate it. And please hit the like if you haven't yet. It is the free way to help. That's crazy. So it is the intense focus of Koberger and his every move, along with adverse headlines and news articles, Vinny, that leads the court to conclude that continued photograph and video coverage inside the courtroom by the media should no longer be permitted. This step should ensure Koberger's right to a fair trial by an impartial jury and achieve a proper administration of justice. Additionally, defense counsel has raised continued concerns with video footage and photographs capturing private documents on the counsel table. Wow, this again in violation of the court's directives. Damn, they did a lot more than we thought. We thought they just did the zoom in and zoom out. No. Violations all over the place. The state has also raised issues of vulnerable. I'm so happy, right, Gores? I'm so happy the judge, man, with the way court TV was being, the judge could have said, you know what, fuck this. I already gave it a chance. I'm so glad the judge. Man, I'm sorry, Judge. There's a reason his name is Judge. Because a shitty judge shouldn't be called Judge. A good judge should be called Judge. The name fits him. Bravo. At this juncture, the court has no confidence that directives to stop photographing or videoing during such testimony would be adhered to. I wouldn't either, because court TV did it over and over and over. But I did get to promote my coffee cup, so thank you. Further, the duty of the bailiffs. Ooh, coffee cup. You know, for old time's sake, let's just throw that up there real quick for a second. Just for old time's sake. Shout out, Court TV. And the coffee cup. At this juncture, the court has no confidence that directives to stop photographing or videoing during such testimony would be adhered to. Furthermore, the duty on the bailiffs within the courtroom to ensure a safe and secure environment is being eclipsed by the burden to monitor media and the public who may be recording, videoing, or photographing the proceedings. To be clear, the court is not accusing all journalists and media outlets of violating the court's orders. However, operated video system will give the court greater control over what is being videoed, will lessen the burden on the bailiffs, will help to alleviate counsel's concerns, and will allow the media and the public access to the video footage of the proceedings. Thank you so much, Judge. Thank you so much. For the reasons set forth above, audio-visual coverage of any proceedings in this case will be exclusively done by the court. Media and the public are not allowed to video, photograph, audio record, or otherwise transmit during the proceedings. So just like before, we're not going to get them until it's going to be the same thing like before, which is totally cool. And you know, over here, when it comes to anything that's being televised on this case, you know we got it first, baby. Hell, we had the Court TV special for 2 days before YouTube even had it on Court TV. Let's be real, people. You get it here first. I don't care who says you got it here first, because sorry, bro, we were already live for another hour. Future public hearings in this case will be video recorded, and that live video stream will be available for the public and media to view at the court's YouTube channel. Oh, we are going to go there, and I will share it with you all. The court reserves the right to amend or prohibit audiovisual coverage in the future if it is determined that videoing the proceedings is interfering in any way with the proper administration of the justice. So ordered, this 17th day of November 2023. Judge, thank you so much for being you, sir. I'm going to not only share this link with you guys in chat, but I'll put it in the highlight video as well. So if you are watching this on a highlight video, I will also have the link to their YouTube channel in the description, so everybody can. Here you go. Go sub, everybody. Judge John Judge, his own YouTube channel.